More medications, less health. Something's broken. Traditional medicine manages symptoms, but true healing addresses root cause. I'm Josh Rimany, pharmacist turned healer. At Beyond the Pills, we merge ancient wisdom with modern-day science to inspire you through stories of transformation, practical trainings, and holistic healing. Join me and other practitioners as we guide you towards vibrant health, body, mind, and spirit, and move beyond symptom management into true healing. Welcome back to Beyond the Pills. I'm Josh Rimany, pharmacist turned healer. And today I am joined by Kyle Hulbert. He's the CEO of the Longevity Center, co-host of the Longevity Unlocked podcast, and a wellness and integrative nutrition coach specializing in detox and men's health. And his story is awesome. That's why I brought him on. After years of battling anxiety, depression, bouts with alcohol, and while living in Dubai and completing his master's degree, Kyle discovered that heavy metal toxicity and low testosterone were the root causes of his struggles with lots of health issues. And that journey led him into a deep dive into detox, integrative health, biohacking, you name it, and ultimately led him to leave his family business and open the Longevity Center of America, where in its first year helped more than 1,500 people detox, heal, and restore their vitality. Welcome to the show, Kyle.
Man, I'm glad to be here. It's kind of funny talking on a podcast with you because at this point, I think we're colleagues, friends, and usually when I meet someone with the podcast, first time I talk to them, but now we already have a rapport, so I think there's a really good conversation to be had. So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, and I love having my friends and colleagues on the show because they become so much more dynamic of conversations. We can cut through the chase, we can work through this stuff. And literally, the first time we met over the phone, like we just were connecting on other things, and we instantly connected because we definitely have a lot of energetic matches with what our lives have done and what we're actually doing today. So let's lock into it. I love starting with like take us back before the Longevity Center. I want people to understand a little bit about what did what brought you here? What was life like when things weren't working for you?
Yeah. I mean, that's a great place to start. For me, it started as early as my undergrad. I was in my undergrad, and I was a collegiate athlete. I was fit, was healthy. Compared to my friends, I was living a super clean lifestyle. I was eating well. I was working out. I was not going out and drinking and partying and doing all that stuff. But I was falling asleep in class. I had this fatigue, and it was just kind of crushing. Now, I just thought, hey, I'm pushing hard. I'm crushing it in school. I'm crushing it in my, athletic pursuits. I'm probably just over pushing it. And a few years later, you fast forward, I'm in my master's degree, and everything starts shutting down little by little. Mm-hmm. So my mental health falls apart. Anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. I'm living the objectively perfect life, right? I'm in Dubai doing my master's degree on a rotation, like studying business. I'm living in a high-rise condo for that time, and I'm just sitting on the balcony thinking I should just jump off and end it all. Like, didn't make any sense, right? Objectively, I had a perfect life. And so what that led me to do is it led me to research. And I went down the rabbit trail so far, so many podcasts, so many books on health and wellness. And eventually I was like, you know what? The thing I've heard the most is testosterone, right? And I was like, I should just go get it checked. We should just go check it. And went into a integrative physician, and he checked my testosterone. It was 159. And for reference, men at my age during that time should be around 1,000.
How old were you? You were in your 20s.
I was like 21.
Yeah. This isn't a time to think about low T, by the way.
Yeah, and that was extremely low. That is low for a 90-year-old man.
That's flatline.
Yep, it's like nothing. It's like
Where is your testosterone is what they should say.
yep.
You get a false reading, like, we have to take this again. You're 25 years old. We probably do, something's wrong with this lab,
I
right?
think the doctor's reaction was, "Oh." He just looked at it and went, oh." So this was my first foray into kind of figuring out what was wrong with my health, right? At this point, I had fatigue, I had brain fog, I had a lot of mental health problems. That physician ended up putting me on an all natural hormone replacement therapy. I did both enclomiphene and HCG at the time. So it's not testosterone injections, they're different things to innately stimulate your testosterone production. And what happened right there was nothing short of life changing. And when I tell you it's life changing, within a week, my mental health symptoms were gone. Anxiety gone, depression gone, suicidal thoughts gone. It was just no longer there. Now, I still had a lot of these issues, a lot of fatigue, a lot of brain fog. They were improved on the testosterone replacement therapy. However, the mental health, that was a game changer. And so fast forward a few more years, I'm in my career, I'm working, I'm hard charging, I'm doing my testosterone replacement therapy. And symptoms keep getting worse in other avenues, joint pain, allergies, gut issues. And I'm like, what is going on? And so I went to doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor, and they all told me they either couldn't find it or I was making it up. One of those two. Which in then turn led me to a biohacking conference because I was like, hey, these crazy people experimenting on themselves, I feel like they know something. They want to push the edge of what's possible.
They must have found something I haven't looked at yet,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah. And so I went to one of these conferences, and weird place, by the way, for someone who's not used to this world, right? You roll into one of these conferences and like you can hug anyone. Like you could just go up and hug anyone. Like it's so full of love and passion. And like these people are like awake and alive and want to help. And there I ended up meeting a physician who referred me to a different physician. And I ended up going to do mercury testing. And the doctor who treated me for my mercury, which was my root cause, it was the thing causing all of those problems. It was causing the testosterone, it was causing the gut issues, the brain fog. The doctor who treated me is now my business partner in Longevity Centers of America. So I told him if he wants to open his own shop, give me a call. He called me, and we opened the Longevity Centers of America. In short, that's kind of the story.
Well, I love the common threads, right? The threads that brings a practitioner or someone from their personal story into what their calling is and what they're doing in the world now is it's always the same. It's like went to doctor to doctor to doctor. They said, there's nothing wrong with you because all they're looking at is a lab, or you're making it up, right? Like what does that do? Like nothing, right? It's like, oh, you're making up your own symptoms, which makes things worse, by the way. And then you serendipitously like fall into the thing that did the thing you kind of gave you like, all right, I got nothing, I'm just gonna go do this thing and see what, like, no attachment, right? It was just I'm just going.
Yeah.
And then this happened to this. I love the breadcrumbs, like you just boom. Oh, and I just so happened to find the guy who treated me, and through that experience, I call it the wounded healer's journey. Or the shamanic journey, right? Like coming back out of something and being rebirthed, and then boom. Okay, yeah, now I have Longevity Centers of America.
Yep.
Talk to people a little bit about the mercury thing, because it's a pretty big deal that we miss a lot of. A lot of times in functional medicine, it's like many little things are making a downstream approach to this, or there's one big thing that's causing all these downstream issues, which is kind of what happened with you, right?
Yep.
So tell people a little bit about that, because I think when people start to hear, like, if one person said, well, maybe I need to check my mercury because I'm just that sick, and it actually happens, like you got it treated, but you treated it right.
Mhm.
And here you are, like on the other side of that. So I
Yeah.
want you to like enlighten that a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. Mercury poisoning is a very real thing. Chronic mercury poisoning. Let's be clear. Almost all mainstream medicine accepts the fact that acute mercury poisoning is real and dangerous, right? Chronic mercury poisoning is not commonly accepted as in mainstream medical as a real thing. But if you look at how our society has evolved and the use of toxins like mercury, like heavy metals in pesticides that are being applied to food, in certain injections given to certain age children during certain periods. Let's phrase it that way. Um, you get this massive buildup of toxins that your system, if you're not genetically absolutely optimal, cannot clear. And so for me, like you said, I had this massive thing that caused all these downstream issues, and that was mercury. And so mercury poisoning, heavy metal poisoning, you could have lead, cadmium, arsenic, you could have all sorts of heavy metals. For the most part, the three ones that we see the most at our clinic is mercury, aluminum, and lead. And then cadmium would probably be the fourth one. But these are the things that, based on the generation you were born in, if you're older, it's probably lead. If you're middle age to maybe 30, it's probably mercury. And if you're sub 30, it's probably aluminum. These are the things that could be an underlying root cause for people. So in my case, I was born, I was firstborn. So I probably got a fairly decent burden of mercury in the womb from my mom because it's shown to transfer. My mom had amalgam fillings, so silver fillings full of mercury. And then I was born during the vaccine period at which um, vaccines are mixed with certain things that are mercury derivatives. And so I got all of those. And then being someone who cared about health and wellness and protein intake, I lived my whole life eating like cans of tuna because it's the lowest fat, lowest calorie, highest protein food you can get, just cans of tuna.
Yes.
Mustard all over top. Can't taste it. Just go. And all of that culminated in this mystery illness, right? My hormones were trashed. And it wasn't just testosterone, growth hormone, thyroid, like they were just trashed. All the gut symptoms, the nervous system was fried. And so when I found out that this was the root, when I did the test, it was, I think it was like 3x the maximum limit for the EPA. And for reference, the maximum limit for the EPA is way too high.
Yes. Glad you said that.
Yes.
Like, I don't give a shit about the EPA's standard. It's like, no, they're like, exposure is not good. Like you got it, but they have to take a reference point because everybody's exposed. They couldn't do anything if they said this, right?
Yeah.
I don't love the logic, but I'm glad you brought it.
Yeah. So the EPA standard, in my opinion, is about 10x what the standard should be.
Yeah.
And I was 3x the EPA standard. And so I had this huge burden of mercury, right? And I was blessed enough to be able to find the physician who actually could take it out safely and controllably through IV chelation. So DMPS IV chelation is like the best, most effective way to get rid of it. And during the series of about 50 IVs, 50, I went from, all these symptoms and they just started dropping. All the symptoms just started dropping off. It was wild because the first 10 I did, I'd lose 1 to 3 pounds in just water inflammation weight, just peeing it out, just all this inflammation just leaving my body.
Well, that's literally what the body does when it's in a toxic state. It has to hold on to it because if it water solubilizes it out, you get further tox. So the body's like holding, same thing with stress and fat, right? We know we hold it. So you're getting the detox, but in a safe way, which is important for people to know. Like 100%, we got to detoxify in a right way, especially things that are highly toxic.
And I'd like to hit on that for just a second.
Sure.
When you look at heavy metal detox, right? If you were trying to do this yourself with supplements, don't do it. Just don't do it. You will not have an effective manner at pulling it out safely and effectively. One, you need testing. And the gold standard on testing is provocation testing, which means you pee in a bucket before you get the IV, and then you pee in a bucket after and see how much comes out. And two, the things that are marketed online to detox you from heavy metals, a lot of times are weak binders, which means they don't have the right bonds to permanently lock onto the heavy metal, which causes redistribution, retox in the system. So you have to work with someone who knows what they're doing. And if it's an online, like, I'm going to send you a bunch of supplements and this is going to get rid of your heavy metals, that's probably not the answer.
It's good to know, though, because I never start detoxing people when I see what's there, because that's what some labs are sometimes there to just give you a snapshot of what's there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then what do you do with it is so important. I always prepare people in certain ways to get them ready to detox, right? And this is part of the functional approach we've always learned. And so, yes, if you see it and you think this is what you need to do, this is definitely one of those asterisk points where I feel like you need a qualified guide.
Yes.
And it's way worth whatever. You don't have to go to $100,000 clinic either, right? It's not difficult, but it's complex enough to not DIY. Is what I think we're trying to get to people today. This is not a DIY approach.
Yeah. I think there's only one supplement brand on the entire market that I'm aware of that does a half decent job at detoxing heavy metals. I think you're familiar with them, Quicksilver.
Yeah, Quicksilver has I use some of their stuff when I'm doing things like this because, I always talk to my dentist all the time. I'm like, do you have anybody with like amalgams that you're removing? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, let's talk. I want to put them all through some screening processes of people that are working there, plus their patients. Because I remember when I went through IFM certification for my functional training, like there was a whole like day and a half on safe amalgam removal protocol. Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't like this, oh, you just take this one thing. It was like a big deal. And they were telling everybody in this all the healthcare practitioners and people, and there's like thousands of them, and they were really focused on that. So it is a real and it is a big deal.
Yeah. So it needs to be guided. Don't fall for some online marketing thing that's just like, hey, if you take this, it's going to detox your heavy metals. One, test, see what you actually have. And two, have a guide that can guide you through a detox that's built for you for your test results.
And do you do this a ton in your practice? Like you're screening for this a lot?
Yeah.
This is something that's been like on my mind lately of like, what would I do in a functional lens for almost everybody to see what's there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we do, when someone comes to the longevity centers in America, we start them with what we call the longevity panel. It's a blood work panel that covers about 20x what a standard doctor would pull. Super comprehensive panel. We check hormones, we do all kinds of screenings, metabolic health, you name it. But one of the screenings we have on there is heavy metals. If you pop up on a heavy metal screening on a blood test, it means one of two things. One, you were recently exposed, or you have such high levels of heavy metals in your tissues that it's actually pulling out into the blood, because heavy metals don't like to live in the blood. They live in the tissues. So if it's circulating, you need to dive deep in that. You need to look at it.
I was just having this conversation with someone today, like yesterday. I was talking to one of the founders of a lab company I use a lot of. And we were talking about some of the new stuff we'll talk about it with the Nano T stuff we're doing together here. But like what we test for in regular mainstream medicine today, as it relates to like what we're talking about, you said it's like 20x beyond what we would test for. And at the same time, what you're testing for isn't terribly expensive, but we're still in the space of like, I was talking about it from a cardiovascular perspective. I mean, in our men's vitality, we're launching our men's vitality programming, right? And a lot of that has to do with like cardiovascular health. for men, right? When
Mhm.
they're men are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, this is a pretty big category to look at. And we're still like people come in with their labs, like, can I give you all my labs? And it's like it's still the same cholesterol basic panel. And I'm like, we're not testing for things that are super inexpensive, but have so much value to look functionally from. So I'm glad that you're bringing this up in your process in the very beginning.
Yeah, we so going back to the Longevity Centers of America, when my business partner called me, one of the key points he hit on was the affordability point, right? He was like, I am losing patients because they can't afford the treatments. And I want control over the pricing, right? He's like, how can you help me build a pricing model in which it's affordable for most people? And so that's kind of what we set out to do. And so we did a combination of two things. We did one, I have a background in purchasing. So every single piece, part, ingredient, we look for two qualities: the highest quality and the cheapest price. And we priced it across every vendor across the US, every one we could find. And then the second part, no magic. We just charged less. So we just cut margin to make this affordable. So what does this look like applicably? Like when you would join the Longevity Center, your initial consult is $175 for an expert level practitioner. That $175 is applied to your first treatment. It's a credit to your first treatment. And then your labs, that 20x panel that you get, we run it through your insurance for you. So whatever your insurance decides to cover, which usually it ends up costing them for about a $7,000 to $9,000 cash pay panel, it ends up costing them about $300 to $500. And so these are the things that we put in place in order to make sure that, hey, we can actually have the data to affect health and outcomes at a reasonable price up front.
You beat me to it. I was gonna lead you into what was the essence of building this longevity center because we talked about it. Because you're hitting on 2 points that I think most this is it's the entrepreneurial spirit in you. Like, what are the problems and how can I solve it?
Mhm.
And what and how can we scale? Like, but scaling not to make money, but scaling to give access to things that people ultimately think are inaccessible. And I'm glad you were telling me the story of the provider that you partnered with was like, nope, I need control. Nope, I'm not doing it that way. Nope. And it brought you to another degree too of like using your zones of genius. But then I think that's why we ultimately align because we literally are trying to democratize wellness and longevity. It doesn't have to be for the elitist.
Yeah.
And I think that's powerful information when we're talking about moving humanity in a new light, right? If we all lived longer and we're having these things that are accessible to us in easier, more efficient ways, which is how you make it less expensive. Like there's it's not just going to the best because they're the best. I've been speaking about this with our supplement line for 15 years. The first thing I say to people, it's the best quality on the planet for the price. When you put those two together, it makes a difference. I
Mhm.
could sell you more expensive supplements. There's a lot more I could sell you, but this is the best quality I could possibly find. So you're literally paying for Kyle's due diligence here. Like
Mhm.
I've done all the work, just do this. It's the best and you won't pay any more.
Yep.
No, and but that gives a huge level of confidence and trust too, right? This isn't because you're trying to make a puppy mill out of a longevity center and run them in, run them out, but you're also being practical. You said the other day when we were talking, you're like, you could be a billionaire or you could be a garbage man, and we're gonna just treat you the same. Like
Yeah.
we're literally gonna treat you in and out because we don't play elitist here. Like,
Mm-mm.
but you didn't do it in a way that was like smugging anyone. It's just like you show up and you're you. If you
Yeah.
Michael Jordan shows up, he's just gonna get the same thing, right? It's like,
Mhm.
great, you got what you got. I
Yeah.
have a lot of entrepreneur friends that pay for shitty doctors just to say that they paid more money. And I'm
Mhm.
like, why would I charge someone $4,000 a month to run labs and supplements and charge them for the labs and supplements just because it's a $4,000 a month commitment? And then everybody's in their own little circle at dinner going, oh, yeah, I got that doctor too. And he's doing like, no, none of that ever resonated with me. It was just
Yeah.
like, no, I just want to make you feel better and make you the best human you can be. And that's really what I love. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you brought that to the light. And that's really the ethos or part of the ethos of the longevity centers of America, right?
Yeah. Well, a big part of it too is just the longevity as an industry in total will be the largest industry in the world somewhere in the 2030s. It'll pass oil and gas. And right now it is for the 1%, right? To have access to these cutting edge longevity treatments, you're talking about a $20,000 membership buy-in to most places. I mean, that's average. I mean, you're getting IV. There's a place not too far from our clinic in West Palm that sells IVs for $70,000 of stem cells imported from Hong Kong. What? Why? Like, and I happen to know the margin they're charging on that, and it is egregious. It is egregious. They're doing it just because they can to say they can. So
Well,
my personal mission here is impacting the health and lives of 1 million plus people, and you can't do that without scaling, right? You have to have more access. You have to democratize it. You have to get out into different locations to be able to actually drive a change of that magnitude.
I agree with that. That's another reason why you saw our mission at Beyond the Pills is like, I'm here to deprescribe 10 million unnecessary medications. He's like, well, I'm here to grab 1 million people and put them through these process. I was like, well, I think if you did that and I did, like, we'd both do what we wanted to do if we do what we want to do. But
Mhm.
you can't, it's not scale to scale though. It's scale to get impact.
Yeah.
Right? We're I love this is why I put all my focus, especially my one-on-one clients, of high impact, heart-centered people. Like if you're doing good in the world, like let's do that. And let's let you do that more. So your impact ripples and this ripple effect happens. And I think to me, that energetic frequency, vibration, or just alignment works, right? That $70,000 injectable, or I've heard of people that go to that have a specific doctor shaman that they go to that stacks psychedelics in a certain way and charges $1 million. Like I'm literally $1 million to see this guy. And I'm like, why? Why? Like, does that make it that much better for you? No, it
No.
doesn't. It literally doesn't. Like, I don't need stem cells from Hong Kong that have been like derived in a certain way. Now, I am deep diving a little bit on exosomes, and I think they're really important for the next level. But we're gonna get to everything. I was talking to my kids though. It's like everything is coming down in price because that's what technology does.
Mhm.
But we still need that human equation, right?
Yeah.
Where we're doing things in a sequential order or in a stepwise approach that makes sense, that's simple to understand, and that people can have empowerment to be a part of,
Yeah.
right? Part of the journey, like you said, your beginning of your journey was I was doing all of the things right and there was things that happened. But that doing all the things right thing is actually the big part. So we need
Yeah.
to guide people through their process, but at the same time, I can't emphasize this enough, but we all have to take part in our journey as well.
Yeah.
No matter how much you spend, you still got to take part in it.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the differentiations. Like, we are not concerned about status, right? Our process is we listen, we take the subjective, we test, and then we heal, right? We don't care about status or who you are or what you want to brag about. We care about driving the results in your health and your life. We want to get you to where you want to be and where you deserve to be as a human, fully optimally functioning.
I love that. When I went through shamanic energy, I love studying the indigenous wisdom of the Americas, and I went through a certification course, and they brought a lot of science to it, which is supportive for me. Kind of like, you know, Ram Dass meets Mark Hyman. It's like we did both. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
But that one thing that stuck with me is like when you see the shaman, he doesn't give a crap about your story. He literally is there to do work. Now, he has fun while he does it too, by the way, which is another key piece to this. Is joy is really important to health and longevity. But the story around what got you there doesn't make a difference. It's that subjective piece you were talking about is like, what are we working with here? And then let's get to work. So I love that approach. I resonate with that for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's our mission. And it comes from a place of like you said, my journey. And in this journey, for me, there were two main hallmarks. It was heavy metal toxicity, and it was trying everything. I mean, I spent $50,000 on supplements and biohacking tech and all kinds of stuff before I found the physician that treated me. And then I spent a fifth to heal me when that $50,000 did absolutely nothing. And our prices are much lower than that $10,000 I spent back in the day.
Well, but it's an important piece, because I think what you get when we've gone through these journeys ourselves, right, is part of the inspiration I get is we can get you there faster, cheaper, and more efficiently. And when I say that, it means I've exhausted over $1 million in my professional and personal journey of healing, transformation, and education. Mm-hmm. Not just because, I love it. Even if I just did it for me, it would be worth it. Like, I've always learned to invest in myself, but now I can relay it back to how do I give this back? Is like this wisdom that you're imparting on people. That journey was a long time. It was arduous. And so we want to shorten the refractory period of someone's well-being. Like, getting them there quicker means we're shortening their experience of being sick, and you're shortening their budget too. Like, this doesn't have to be crazy and expensive. Like,
it's another reason we don't believe in memberships for us. We believe, so like, we don't sell, like, if you want to come in and do something random and you want to pick off a menu and you want to join a membership, that's not us, right? We have a personalized treatment plan for your goals. And what happens is a lot of times people will come to us, they have certain goals or certain things they're dealing with. Within a year, they're gone because they're good. And that's amazing. I've actually had so many people tell me it's a terrible business model. And I go, we're in healthcare. Isn't the point to heal? I don't want to keep them sick.
Well, it depends on who you talk to.
Yeah.
Because when we go to school for healthcare to be a physician or a nurse or a pharmacist or a coach or whatever, it's like you literally do want to heal people. And healing is different than being less sick. Mm-hmm. However, the system is a sick care model to keep people in the sick space or less sick. So yes, I believe we're here to heal, but I also know that the new transforming our current healthcare system, I've been having this conversation with a lot of people lately, is I don't believe it's broken. I just believe it's not complete. Mm-hmm. And what we're doing is going beyond what the healthcare system is offering, because beyond means we're moving forward. We're moving beyond it. We're not excluding it. If you get hit by a truck, go to the freaking ER.
That's what they do amazingly.
They do. They make you less dead really good. Like, that's okay. I had cancer at 16. I needed an oncologist, mm-hmm. but I also needed to understand the lessons that I learned along the way. to understand what truly healed me.
Mhm.
Like, and that conversation is what I think healing is about, is instead of taking away something, like disease management is looking at the disease and trying to take it away versus restoring balance. And when you're talking hormones and you're talking longevity and you're activating certain genetic processes, if you want to talk body, or if you want to talk mind or energetics, the field of it, is we're restoring balance so the body innately does what it's supposed to. And that's what healing is. You let the body do what it was supposed to because it knows what to do. And when it knows what to do and it's doing it well and you're in a coherent path, you don't need all this intervention. That's the
Yeah.
goal.
Mhm.
The treatment goal for me is I don't need to see you anymore unless we go out to lunch or something.
Yeah.
And I always love treating and working with people that I would share a meal with because
Mhm.
there's an energetics behind it. So
Yeah. Yeah,
I think,
so
and
I
that
will
to me is why I think the ticker at the bottom is, how many, if I can de-prescribe a medicine because a medication because you don't need it anymore, I've helped you heal in some way.
yeah, and I see it all the time. I mean, I think your mission is so impactful. A quick story about, one of our patients early on that doc treated. He was on a blood pressure medication, and he'd been on it for years, and, doc looked at all his readings and was like, "Yeah, it's slightly elevated, and the blood pressure medication seems to be managing it fairly well." And he dug into it, and he's like, "Hey, let me see your arm." And the guy goes, "Yeah, what about it?" He's got a big old bicep, right? Big, big arm. He's a jet guy. And doc goes, "What size cuff are you wearing on the blood pressure monitor?" And he goes, "The normal one." And he goes, "Switch it to an XL." Switch it to an XL. His blood pressure is perfect. He discontinued the medication. Blood pressure remained perfect. It was literally a blood pressure cuff size differential that caused him to take a medication for 3 years. Can you believe that?
Well, yes, and this is why I spend time with my patients. And this is why it's the mantra of don't be better, be different. Like what we're talking about is you said it too, like we listen, right? That's the first piece. We listen. My VIP days with people is me and them. That's it. So imagine just having one conversation like that had nothing to do with anything else besides just understanding that person's situation a little bit deeper and then allowing that to unfold to like, holy crap. Uh, but yes, this is why 50% of all hospital visits have a medication error, right? It's because there's so much error because people are going so fast and hitting the buttons to get paid the little that they do and keeping the model moving. But this happens more often than I can now record as data. But you also said data. This is why we're capturing subjective and
Mhm.
objective data
Yep.
because if we're giving this supplement because it's helping a nutritional imbalance, but if you're giving magnesium and optimizing it, well, there's 400 things you're optimizing, getting it down here. That person may relate it to anxiety or sleep or vitality. So the subjective piece is really important. And I think we don't
Right.
we don't we don't emphasize it in our current modern day medicine training because we're so lab heavy.
Mhm.
That's why I've always used both. And maybe that's just me because a pharmacist in me had to deal with no labs and still work with people because all I get is what they say and what the doctor gave me an order for. And I had to work with that.
Mhm.
So I've used that more often than the labs for certain things. But when was the last time you just asked somebody, like, how do you feel today? Like, how do you feel in your body? Like, are you okay?
Yeah. I mean,
Or the,
that's
the way I look at it, and I would say it this week, I was like, how you doing? And they go, good. It's
good.
like, well, how you really doing? And then they're like, well, let me tell you, and they're like, okay, well, we got to deal with that because I
Yeah.
can't, if you don't leave this door thinking you were taken care of, that in itself is actually medicine. It's
Hmm.
placebo effect. It's medicine.
Yeah. I
I
always try
don't
to.
care how they get better, by the way. Like to me, I don't care. If you get better and I was a part of that journey with you, I'm happy. I can sleep well.
Hmm. So, I mean, if we bring it back to like what we're doing, right? Like, I think the core in terms of like what you're doing with your clients, what we're doing with our clients and patients is like listening, getting the subjective, merging it with the data and the test results, and then really just trying to find the root of it. Not using the quick fix, not using the quick band-aid, but getting to the root in the fastest, most efficient, most affordable, effective way possible. And I think that needs to be the focus of healthcare moving forward.
Well, it's focusing on why, not what.
Hmm. Yep.
And I've always been a why guy. Like for some reason, my mind just thinks that way. So probably brought me why I love functional medicine because they always say root cause. But then I've gone deeper in root cause, going, well, it's not just the physical. Like if your mind isn't in order, it's going to affect everything physical to you, and vice versa. The physical is going to affect your mind. And so we have to treat these in a holistic way. And I say whole with a W because it's all of it. And that's why I'm sitting on a PEMF mat to balance my nervous system. And when I went on vacation, I didn't have the mat. And I was around a lot of people and I was like, you know what? I need to go back. My immune system is being charged in a good way because that for me, that works. Right.
Mhm.
But it wasn't like, oh, that's just a thing you do. I do have a lot of biohacking gadgets because I have a lot of biohacking friends and they tell me what works for them because they've done all the R&D on themselves.
Mhm.
So I get the benefit of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I use it in practice as the modern day side of, frequency medicine and all these other things we're doing. But then I blend it with what's like the blood pressure thing. Is like, did your doctor teach you how to breathe right before he puts you on a blood pressure medication? Because we can affect your systolic by 10 points if we could just change the way you breathe. Nope, let's go to the drug. Try
Just
eat right, exercise, live better, take this drug. We'll see you in 3 months. 3 months happens. What happens? Did you eat right, exercise better? No. But did you take your drug? Yeah. Okay. Well, you're not getting any better. So let's try another drug. And then let's do like, I've seen the
yeah.
polypharma too long. Like, we're here to reverse that equation.
Yeah. Well, and you hit on a really important point, in my opinion, which is the mindset. The mindset
Oh,
of like healing and that my body can do it, right? So if you look at like what we do a lot of regenerative injections. Um, and so certain biologics, exosomes, stuff like that. We do a lot of work with that. And doc will literally turn people down if their mindset is not correct. They will be like, here, take my money. I want you to inject me. And we will be like, no, you need to go to counseling first. You need to believe that your body can regenerate. You need to believe that your body can heal before we're going to offer this treatment to you.
I love it. I love it. This is the point of why I think medicine needs to go this direction. And I'm glad that you have they're good, these boundaries, right? They're healthy boundaries though. Well, I've done too much mind body work and learned the science of it too to know that we all know it's interconnected. If you look at a garden hose and you think it's a snake, there's 1400 chemical reactions that happen in a millisecond. So there is a thought to a physical component, the biology of belief, right? So I'm glad that you're centered around the piece before the piece, and you also put up a buffer. Like, I'm not just going to take your money and say no. Like, okay, here you go, it's fine. You're like, no, this is part of the process, and it's really hard, even when even when you experience. It's still difficult to move past those belief systems when you think it's just the thing affecting you. And so I like using the placebo effect in reverse to help people heal, to using that. for them, because whether you study the ancients or you study quantum realities, the essence is the same. Intention makes all the difference in the world, and intention is belief.
Mhm.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and it is so powerful, like, and it's scientific, right? The body can drive healing responses if your brain believes it, right? Your brain can send the signal to the body to repair, and it can also do the opposite, all right? So we can put in to your joint all the growth factors, all the raw materials that you could possibly need to help regenerate. But if your brain is saying that's not going to work, where is the healing signal? It probably won't work. No.
No, this is why I love this part of medicine, is mind body medicine. It's like it's not mind or body, it's mind body, because there's an energetics to the thought turning into a chemical signal. It's like there's biology to it, and then there's the energetics to it. That's why I say it doesn't matter which side you talk from, woo or science. It's all meaningful. Yet our current healthcare system and our programming has all been rooted around, like, just manipulating the body, but it won't work. Like, the placebo effect is real. Like, you said it right. I've said it the same way to my clients: is the body can make you sick, or the mind can make you sick, and it can make you well.
Mhm.
And it's a big part of a healing journey. Like, so big that that's why we teach heart math and coherence training. Like, we want to bring people back into rhythms. And maybe this is a good segue into our men's vitality, is how do we get back to the nature of the rhythmic nature of the body and what it's supposed to do? Because again, for me, healing is unlocking the body's own abilities.
Mhm.
And yes, things slow down and get less frequent when we age. This is why longevity is such a big deal now. I don't love that word, but living better, staying well longer means we have to put these signals, or these signals in that are helpful to the body, but the mind activates them. And
Mhm.
you really want to go another deeper dive, your mind can create them. I've been in meditation rooms with people where we're literally creating specific molecules to heal our body, which is so fun.
The power is just incredible of the mind. But
Well,
yeah, I do
you
wanna.
can only unlock 10% of it.
Yeah.
So what's the 90%? Yes, we will be floating and doing stuff like whatever that is.
Mm.
It's actually my favorite place to play is consciousness. But
Love it. Love it.
um,
But men's vitality.
like, we were both highly invested in this new way of treating men's health. Um, I would love to chat and riff about that as we're developing these new processes, because we're literally both kind of creating these new men's vitality clinics centered around these biorhythmic patterns.
Yeah.
That's exciting for me,
Mhm.
because I'm reading this book called Pattern Breakers. I'll send it to you, but it's about how companies, or how ideas that change the world, like Lyft is a great example.
Mhm. Yeah.
Lyft was really first, but like there were certain things that happened to make Lyft work in the time that it was there.
Mhm.
Now, there's probably been things that have been tried for many years, right? But from men's and women's hormonal and also vitality, longevity, we're at the precipice today, and we have technologies that have changed. We have AI, and we have things that are happening in a sequential order to allow us to do things we haven't been able to do before. And for me, since I do a lot of men's work and work and men's growth, is how would I take vitality with men and put it into this modern day, but also help rhythmically, naturally help the body? And I think hormones are going in that direction. They already are. We're doing it now. But hormones is just one way. It's like, for me, it's everything in this world down to our bodies happens in some pattern, some rhythm. And we're able to produce this now in the testosterone we're working with and the nano emulsion in the compounded form. I am really excited for that. And I know both of us are kind of moving into the launch mode, but I want to get your experience thus far, like learning, like, hey, we have a technology now that can allow us to rhythmically give hormones to men and women in a way that's naturally derived in their body. Whereas before we were giving steady state and we were testing in to see if they're within the normal range. But our bodies don't do that. Like, we make cortisol. If we were making cortisol at 3 a.m. every day, we wouldn't sleep. We have to make melatonin when we sleep. We make like cortisol in the morning, right? And we know, but we also know that testosterone has a diurnal pattern. So I was thinking, like, why can't we have the technology that allows us to do this? But wait, we have to test it differently. We have to dose it differently. We have to make it differently. And we have to model it differently. But now we're here. Like, we're literally here, which makes it really exciting for me.
Yeah, yeah. So the nano T is interesting. And it's very interesting in the way that, like, I've experimented with oral forms of testosterone before. I've taken every form of testosterone that is available in the US market.
Which is really why I think we were supposed to meet, because I was playing with this and you're like, oh, I just met this guy's actually done it all.
Yeah. So, like, I've taken the orals, I've taken multiple different types of injectables. The only thing I haven't done is pellets. Because I don't believe in pellets. That's a side note. That's a whole tangent, but
I don't either.
Don't cut people open to do hormone therapy. It's just,
don't give them super doses for 3 months.
Like, yeah, it's just
the opposite of what we're talking about here.
Yeah. So, and I've done all the types of, like, fertility sparing options too, in clomiphene, HCG, gonadorelin, like all these, kisspeptin, all these things. And the thing that is, how do you balance the getting the benefits of testosterone? And I'm not talking like I want to get jacked, because, like, in my opinion, the benefits of testosterone are mental health, the drive, the focus, the cognitive ability, and the lack of anxiety and depression. Like, that's the
which is the definition of vitality, I believe.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Like, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about, like, bodybuilding. Like, it's not
the
like
anabolic side. You know, it's important for lean muscle.
Yes.
But yeah.
Yeah. But how do we take testosterone or replace it in a method in which, by the time we get to sleep, our deep sleep, our body still has a robust enough signal in order to be able to send that signal to produce its own testosterone? So what that looks like is, you get this massive pulse of testosterone during your deep sleep. And if we're able to give another pulse in the AM, another pulse in the midday range, by the time we could get to bed, when we need to be winding down, when we need to be getting ready for that deep sleep, when the room temperature is cold and we're prepping our body correctly, that testosterone exogenously is out of the system, so our body can still send the signal to make its own testosterone. That's what the nano T is trying to accomplish.
Well, and that's where I think we are today, is like, how do we exogenously give what we need, because we're not making as much as when we were in our 20s and 30s, right? And not because we want to, like, men don't want to preserve low T, they want to be vital.
Mm-hmm.
So they're correlating low T with vitality, which is somewhat correct. However, what I believe is, how would I restore it, not replace it? Because I still want to create what you just said, is like, how do we endogenously, or make it ourselves? We have to do pulsatile dosing.
Mm-hmm.
And but we need to see it so we can get it right. Yep. So it's like, I love working with this philosophy, because to me, this is the Uber. This is the lift of how we're going to do it, from a way that the body wants it. The body needs it. So we're waking up the body doing it itself. You and I are kind of figuring this stuff out. And then I always just say it's like icing on the cake. We're giving the body what it needs that you can't quite make up to, but we're not shutting it all down. And I think you've had firsthand experience, but I think a lot of men don't realize that when they go on TRT, especially injectables, is like we're giving a lot of it all at once because it's the only way we've been able to do it, right? We're not downplaying it. It's like this is what we had in front of us. But that when the body shuts down and we don't make it, then we have this sort of like, well, now I have this, but I don't have this. And I wanted to create something that was balanced in the whole process, which is what I think we're talking about, which is why I'm so damn excited about it. Because I feel like we're so much closer than we've ever been to the place where we can actually work both angles at the same time to achieve what we've all wanted in the first place.
Yeah. And so I think the Nano T is a good option. I have yet to see, so I'm testing it on myself right now. Side note, it kind of burns a little bit in the mouth. It's a little spicy.
Well, I gave you a bunch of flavors, so I don't know. Maybe that was.
I got strawberry.
Flavor.
Strawberry was the one I was like, I mean, it tastes great. Listen, the strawberry tastes great, but it's a little man. It's like if you haven't had nicotine lozenge and you put it like up in your gum, it's like that burning sensation. It's not bad. It's just something I noticed.
I've noticed it was some. I haven't done the Nano T yet because I'm still working on the other side of like the endogenous first, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I've noticed that in some of the liposomal formats because for whatever reason the carrier molecules are moving it through, and that's what we're doing though. We're pulsatile. We're wrap it in, wrap it out, and we're adjusting the amplitude and the frequency to match what that diurnal pattern would be normally in a healthy 30s and 40s year old guy, right?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you it's absorbing. I can tell you that. I could tell you that because one, I know by the feeling that burn is the same burn as when you put that nicotine pouch in, and that's how you basically you can feel it, quote unquote, going in. But I can also feel the effects. Personally, it takes me about 20 minutes to feel the effects. And I'm like laptop open, cranking out work, like doing the things, like I need to get stuff done. I got that drive locked in.
Well, the way I teach people, and if people are curious, like they can contact your clinic and my clinic. We can work through this. We're working through this with people right now. It's tricky with testosterone because it's controlled and all that fun stuff. But it's, to me, I just think of this as IV for your, like, oral IV. It's basically what it is. It's what nanotechnology is. It's this new way of delivering these molecules. I'm working with these with peptides now. I'm working with these in different molecules that the gut will chew up and spit out because they're going to detoxify it. So we're moving it in a new way that's bypassing all that. But what you said is important is it's rapid absorption into the system where we don't have to shoot somebody full of a needle.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to kind of see what our first read of data is. I'm going to do some blood tests on like the curve of it. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, it's a terrible experiment that nobody should have to do, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to order a bunch of test kits. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to spray the Nano T in my mouth and hold it there. And then every 30 minutes, I'm going to have our nurse practitioner draw blood from me.
But this is why we need to test and validate this so we can personalize it, right? That's the goal. We're going to personalization. We're democratizing it to make it affordable for most people that value it, and then also believe that these treatments are beneficial to themselves and people.
I'm going to do 6 blood draws in a day so other people don't have to. is really the goal here.
Well, it's the do you first principle in a new light, right? I always talk to practitioners in wellness. It's like if you're a wellness provider, you literally have to be the product of your product.
Yeah.
You can't just teach it and not do it. It's very different than the sick care model, right? You don't
Mm.
do open heart surgery on yourself because you're a thoracic surgeon.
Yeah.
No, but if you're a well guy, like you got to do the right thing. So I like being the guinea pig in these lights, but it's safe, it's effective, and you have the accessibility to it. So because it isn't practical, this is why we're working through these processes to unleash this in a really cool way. Mhm.
So I'm excited to see what the future holds for NanoFC and getting I think there's a stacking ability here. I think really with the synergistic use of peptides as well,
Yeah.
especially like growth hormone releasing analogs and things like that, you could really like claim back levels of vitality in an on-demand fashion that still syncs with the rhythms of the body. That right there.
That see the technologies are going to change, but what we're talking about is the what I believe is the next age of, let's call it quantum healthcare at this point, is how do we unlock the rhythms that are natural in an on-demand fashion that are accessible and also not invasive,
Mhm.
right? Like look at what CGMs have done for the world. This is why I said in the beginning, like there's things that have happened that have allowed this to be the next thing. Like Uber couldn't have existed without a GPS tracker in your phone. So when somebody put the GPS tracker in their phone, it enabled that thing to happen. There was a couple other things, but that's what we're talking about is we're not the technology of nano will change and like the testing parameters and convenience that's going to change. But what we're talking about is doing it the way that the body needs it and is naturally doing it itself. So we're instead of going against nature, we're embracing it. And when I say nature, I mean what the body's really supposed to, what's it's designed to do. When we talk vitality and longevity, to me, that is the path of least resistance, and that's what water does. It flows in the direction that's least resistant. And so we're
Yep.
just mimicking we're literally doing what the body's supposed to do,
Mhm.
but we're doing it past the time that nature wanted us to be here.
Yeah.
So we are cheating nature, but we're doing it with them, not against them. And I think to me, that feels very regenerative and it feels like that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you operate within those bounds, you have a less likely percentage chance of all the downsides that come with like steady state high testosterone replacement therapy, like the thick blood and the possibility of stroke and all these things that you can just mitigate if you work with the biorhythmic nature of it.
Which was maybe the whoa, this is what we have in front of us. Like thoughts I had over a year ago was like, I need to lean in on this. This is part of the reason why we left the retail division of our pharmacy and like went all in to like explore these new pathways of rhythmic and things like that. So I'm happy. I'm glad to meet people like you that we can work together and collaborate and do a little bit of mad science on the side to figure it all out so we can benefit others, right? Um so we're definitely both fans of what we're building with Beyond the Pills, Men's Vitality. Um, what excites you the most about aligning detox longevity with performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, like, if we can remove the interference to the body will do what it's supposed to do. So it's so exciting where technology is with detox, and especially like medical guided detox, where we can do like very advanced level detox at somewhat affordable prices. Like we are able to take the interferences, the stuff that is disrupting the processes in the body, and just bring it down, bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. And then the body's natural healing abilities will increase over time. So you can actually, not even by adding anything in, but just by taking stuff away, you can increase performance. And that is an exciting thought.
It's I keep coming back to these same components, and I think when we talk detox, it's important for people. really quickly, like we live in a very toxic burden, toxic load environment, right? We know this, but like, we don't, it hasn't hit home enough to me with people yet. It's part of what we need to do. It's same thing with clinical nutrition. It's not because supplements are better now than they were. There is a lot more going on with the science of it, but our food isn't as nutritious as it was. So we need to put nutrients into our body to help. It's like both of those sides are so important right now. This is why longevity to me is exactly what you said. It's like, let's unlock the body. But one of the friction points to make it non-coherent is it's got a lot of noise. There's sludge going on. The body doesn't know what to do. It has no capacity. That's why I love at the genomic side. I like looking at the detox genomics. And then you're talking the same thing is like, we could just unlock what your body needs to do by pull the simplicity of longevity and functional medicine. Take out the bad signals, put more good ones in.
It is really simple when you boil it down. Like, what is the body missing? And what does the body have it doesn't need, doesn't serve it? And if we can solve those two things, chances are, now, whatever the application is, whether it's a joint or whether it's hormones, we can hit those two things, the outcomes are going to be life-changing for people.
I'm gonna throw a couple lightning round questions before we have to go, and then we'll give people the links. What's the most underrated detox habit?
Underrated detox habit. I don't know if it's underrated, but infrared sauna.
Oh, I got one in my house. I have a portable one. It's like super. I use it all the time.
Yeah, I have a sunlighting 2 feet away from me right here. It's like I can touch it. I'm touching it with my toe right now.
Yeah, I have a Therasage in my house, and I know Robbie, and we're going to do a podcast together because I agree. That's a great answer. What's the most overrated biohack?
Cold plunge. So, and specifically, cold plunge for metabolic health and fat loss. That is garbage. Garbage. So, cold plunge for stress response.
Oh, nervous system rebound. That's the only reason I use it.
Yes, nervous system, vagus nerve. Like, yes. But the things I hear online for losing fat by cold plunging, garbage.
Good. Thank you for that. Wow, I got 2 more. One belief about health you've completely changed your mind about.
Oh, one belief about health that I've completely changed my mind about. This is very personal to me, and that it's that I can't get better from anything that hits me. And I've changed my mind 100% on that. When I was young, when I was dealing with all that sickness, I believed that I could not get better if I had this and I was just going to gain all these symptoms and they were going to stick. Now, I am 100% opposed to that. And I think whatever symptom that might pop up, we have the technology, the information, and the hope to be able to solve it.
I just say it plainly and simply. There is an infinite amount of infinite possibilities out there, so everything is possible.
Love that.
I love that. Thank you. One thing, well, this is the last one, then we'll close up. One thing you wish every man understood about vitality and longevity.
Vitality and longevity should be a right, not an option. And so I believe that you are, and you have to understand that you are your best advocate. You have to find the people that you can guide you, that can work with you, that can show you how to do the things you need to do to remove the interference, to add in the good things, to get the longevity and vitality that you deserve as your right. And you have to advocate for it.
Love that, and brother, because I've been saying it I always say it to people, like, everyone has the right to be vibrantly healthy. We all have the right to do it. Now, we all don't. And I'm changing that a little bit lately. Is like, everyone has the ability to heal. Doesn't mean everyone heals, but everyone has the right and the ability to.
Mm-hmm.
So, where can people find you in the Longevity Center? And what's the best step if they want support?
Yeah, if you want to learn more, Longevity Unlocked is our podcast. We'll throw the link in the show notes. I can give you all the information to our website for our clinics, and if you want to learn more, you can dig and find it. But really, I'm here talking about these things, talking about my story to get education out. I'm not here to find more patients. I'm not here to do necessarily that. I want people to learn. Our online platform, Longevity Unlocked, is about education. It's about getting out the science between EBOO and regenerative injections and detox and all the things we do. So, really, at the end of the day, what would mean the most to us, if you want to learn more, please dive into our podcast, Longevity Unlocked.
I love that. And that's another reason why I think we're connecting, because I actually don't bring people on the podcast when their PR agent like notifies me and says this person would be great for your podcast and here's the things we're going to promote. Like, no, it's education and awareness. That's why we do this podcast. If people want to go beyond the pills, beyond and move themselves to true healing, like, it's all about awareness. So thank you for that.
We don't sell anything on our podcast. In fact, we only give stuff away for free. If you listen, we just give stuff away randomly. There's nothing being sold. It's purely for education. It's a giant cost for us, and we just want to get the information out.
Well, it's the same reason we started the Beyond the Pills community, right? We've literally launched it, and we're building the community to give people deeper access to the things that I and other of my, like all my colleagues have done. And I said that from the very beginning. I said, we're not creating a community to sell stuff to people. Now, will I invite people to offer things to them? Sure, because things cost money, but there's an energy exchange. But I will never sell again. Like, if this resonates with you and you think this is good for you, we're going to share with you what it would take. And then at that point, I love it. You do the same thing. Best quality on the planet for the price.
Mm-hmm.
Bar none. Done all the work. Mic drop. Like, you're paying, guys, you are probably paying for millions of dollars of research, development, and agony going through all of the stuff that we've gone through just to go. And I love your vibe. I love the energy that you go. It's like, it literally is education. And education is awareness. Now, what do we do with it? That's the point. We got to go from thinking to doing, because our healing journey is an active approach so we can become the people that we're supposed to be.
Love it.
All right, my friend, my brother, this has been fun. Thank you so much for all you're doing at the Longevity Center of America, and just through your story. Like, I hope this resonates with people. Like, I think this is why the bridge builders are doing the things we're doing here, is to help humanity and grow into these new things so we can all be the best versions of ourselves. So thank you for what you're doing, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on. I'd love to be able to share my story and hopefully get some good information out there.
And I can't wait to build our cohorts so we can really start proving this data. It's going to be so fun.
Love it.
All right, guys. That's a wrap. Until next time, stay well. Thanks for joining me today on Beyond the Pills. If our mission to deprescribe 10 million unnecessary medications resonates with you, share this episode, subscribe, and leave a review. Whether you're a practitioner or someone ready to reclaim your health, visit rx2wellness.com for free resources to begin your journey. Together, let's go beyond the pills and co-create a world of vibrant health and true healing. Until next time, live better and stay well.